Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Monday pre-market prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin. You know, there are some days that it's pretty quiet out there. There's not much to talk about. And there are some days when I don't even know if we're going to have time to get to everything that we want to get to because there is just so much happening. We obviously have to start with this news at Pfizer this morning. We will talk about that and just what happened at 6:45 this morning and the wicked reversal that headline caused. So I'll start. I mean, we have other things, but that's kind of like the big story of the day. So let's just go there. Fari Hamzei is our guest. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Joel, tell us, how high exactly are we right now?
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you, Fari is fired up. I've already had a preliminary phone call with Fari, and he is fired up. So be prepared for that at 8:35. I'm not even going to give you the low. We may never see 35, 15, 75 again. Higher open, 36, 56, 75. I don't think I've ever had a number almost 100 points above my top number on my sheet. But anyways, 36, 56, 75, that's your high. Keep an eye on that until it's taken out. Crude up $3.56 at 40.70. What gold gained last week is given back that now, down $43.50 at 19.08. Let's call it. Silver down 83 cents at 24.84, and Bitcoin's kind of hanging in there. I guess Bitcoin's is more of a reopening trade stock. That's up $35 at 15,665. Well, when these kind of things happen, I always think about my buddy Triple D, and I'm thinking, oh man, he's nimble, but I don't know if he's this nimble. Were you able to dodge this bullish
Somehow I survived this. And all it is understanding relationships. We talk about relationships, and obviously before 6:45, I was loaded up with everything. I mean, we saw, and if you bring up the chart of the Qs, look where they were before this Pfizer news. And I was loaded up with tech. It was a pretty good morning. And then the headline hit. And I'm looking at tech and I'm looking, what just happened? And actually on the headline, everything blasted. So in the initial headline, it's the bots, right? They bought everything. It wasn't an immediate, like my millisecond slam of the Qs. They bought everything. And then, the rotation starts happening about maybe like 10 seconds after. You can start seeing it. And I'm like, oh boy, okay. I'm long way too much tech. I'm like, don't panic. I'm telling myself, I pep talking myself at 6:45. Don't panic. Start selling tech for crap. Just start rotating. Start just hitting bids in tech and lifting offers in all those reopening stocks. So my first trade, if I just go to the tape and I can tell you exactly what time it was. Let me go look. My first trade at 6:45. When did the headline break, Spencer? Give us the headline first, because maybe people aren't, just waking up. They don't know what I'm talking about. Give us the Pfizer headline. What time did it break?
6:45 and 0 seconds. So on the nose, 6:45. Pfizer and BioNTech announced vaccine candidate against COVID-19 achieved success in the first interim analysis from its phase 3 study. Here are the numbers. Here, I'll turn my camera on here. The vaccine candidate was found to be more than 90% effective, that's 90 in preventing COVID-19 in participants without evidence of prior infection. Analysis found 94 confirmed cases in the trial of more than 43,000 participants. So a great step here this morning. We're obviously not out of the woods yet. We still have to get some more data. We still have to get FDA approval. But this is a great first step, or not first step, but this is a great step for Pfizer and BioNTech this morning. They've already done the rounds on TV, talking it up, but a huge release, huge news, very positive news. You can't deny it. Yeah. The market is not denying it.
So, and you can see the crazy movements that we're seeing here. I mean, the NASDAQ has went back green, but okay, so there is some days where you're on and some days you're off, and it was fairly early, so I'm just trying to get my wits about me. But I was like, just pep talking myself. Look, so this is why I'm telling the story, because this is how you get yourself out of trouble. First, understand you're on the wrong side of the trade. Anything along tech, you were on the wrong side of the trade immediately at 6:45. So the first trade I made, obviously I'm digesting, was 6:45.10. So 10 seconds after the headline, I sold my Microsoft. And I'm like, okay, don't panic, just start flipping stocks. Next thing I did, I sold Microsoft. I turned around and bought Bank America. And then I sold my AMD, which, and I still have the AMD long in the long-term portfolio. And I'm selling AMD at 88.38. I'm selling AMD. Like you can see, like, when the headline hit, I'm like right there. And then the next trade, I'm selling I sold my Beyond Meat, which actually wouldn't have been a bad one to hold because it didn't go down as much as I thought it would have. I had Slack short, and I'm like, okay, hold on to that one. So, which was work, because I'm like, this is, so you got to hold on to the ones to do. I sold my Apple. Selling, I was actually short Qs against it, so I'm wiggling out of that. But then I'm like, okay, I need more. So then I'm like, what's the crappiest stocks I can think of? Disney's already taken off. I was like, okay, what about SeaWorld? And SeaWorld's already up like 6%. I'm like, okay, forget about SeaWorld. Six Flags. That's a big crappy stock. That's probably going to bust. So I bought Six Flags at 25.92.
What's
and I
the
bought
symbol
more
on that? I always forget.
SIX.
Okay.
At 25.60, I think. I bought it basically up about 2%. It's up 22% right now. I bought Alaska Air, ALK. Like, this is what you just got to have your plans. Have your plan of attack. When a headline hits, you got to know what to do. Because you're just sitting there saying, okay, now what? And you're scrambling. You got to know what to do. I bought Six Flags, bought Alaska Air. And then just, it's this continuous trade. Selling Google. I was long Google. I'm selling my IBM, which I was long.
Were the markets efficient at that point? Was it like?
No, you're still like, I'm long Etsy still, and I forgot about my Etsy, and Etsy goes red. I was like, oh man, I gotta get rid of that Etsy, because I was way up in Etsy. It was like bring up the Etsy chart. It was like 152 when the headline hit. I didn't get out of that. I hit the bid like 144. So I was way late on Etsy. That's like 20 minutes. Like, I'm like 20 minutes later now, and I'm still like hitting tech and trying to buy, the other stuff. So I'm obviously, the Etsy was 132 now. I mean, I would have been murdered on it. So I got out of that too. I mean, you just got to keep, and there's a few stocks there that, I didn't get out of them that well, but you just got to know what you're doing. And those first initial trades, like trading Microsoft or Bank America and buying Six Flags, those are your day savers. Like, you're in trouble, you're long too much tech, those stocks are going to, turn it right around. I mean, on the Six Flags, I bought that thing at 25.60. I sold some at 29, and then I sold, I think, somewhere like 29.80. I mean, it's over $30 now, but it went up 20%. I mean, that's just way overdone, but it shows that the rotation was just so wicked, man. So you got to understand, we talk about the rotation all the time. This is how the money is made. The algos are kind of not really programmed for it. You can see that because it took a long time. On the initial headline, they bought everything. That was a mistake. And obviously the rotation is now completely turned, and it's really wicked. It was really wicked rotation for like the last hour. It's just been so wicked. You look at IWM up 7%. The QQQs actually went red. They were back green, but they actually went red for a bit, which is absolutely incredible. On a day that Dow Jones is up 1,500 points, the Qs went red. That's how wicked the rotation is.
That's rotation. Is it just going to be, is it going to stick? Is this going to be the time where
nobody knows that. I mean, They could come on the next trial, and let's talk about this Pfizer. Okay, let's go and talk the Pfizer. I'm long Pfizer in my long-term portfolio. And I feel like selling it because it's up 14% on this news, and it's Pfizer. You got the CEO, and he says, this is the most significant medical advance in the last 100 years. I think that's overreaching.
Yeah,
I think I know. Again, maybe he's excited. He's gonna. They've got a big step. This is great for everyone. It's good news. Is it the most significant medical advance in the last 100 years? I think that's reaching. It's one thing. You got some employees saying that, but the CEO of the company saying that. I personally think it's reaching. Maybe this is what the vaccine. This is going to be the one vaccine that saves us all. But one, the virus isn't as deadly as we thought it was back in March. So, there's still, the world is going on. It's just, going on in different ways. So I don't know. I think that's overreaching. I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? I mean, there's been so much news here over the weekend. Obviously, we get the confirmation that Biden's in. The markets are ripping higher. Now you get this Pfizer news drug, and they slam tech, and they buy everything reopening that they could possibly think of. I mean, Boeing is trading up 22 points right now. I mean, this is just a wicked, wicked, wicked rotation.
Well, if you were Spencer, you were watching 60 Minutes last night, right?
I caught the
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was like I don't want to say like they had the news, but it was a general that they had talking about it who was in charge of the distribution. And it was like, I'm like, and this, I knew this, the spoos are already up, but it was just, incredible what he was talking and what's transpiring today. As far as, the greatest medical advance, what he's saying, the history of the world ever. Boy, oh
The last
boy.
100 years. I mean,
Last
holy
100 years,
mackerel, that's a
man.
big statement.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I think Benzinga, Charlie read that, so I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure Charlie doesn't make things up. He reads news, and I think it was like I was listening to Benzinga Pro, and I'm like, are you serious? Is that what he just said on CNBC? So, anyways, that just seems overreaching big time. But this is great news.
Yeah.
And this is the event that we talked about, that there is eventually going to be, a vaccine, a really good news on a vaccine. And you're going to see this wicked rotation. This happened this morning at 6:45. And what is good news for Boeing? Bring up Zoom.
Oh boy.
And we talked about its Fastly event. We've been warning about, the potential that, eventually this trade will come off because the valuations, they don't make any sense at all. It's just, the way it is. At one time this morning, Zoom was down almost 100 points. It's now down 64 only, so it has bounced. I mean, you get the overshoot, and then you get the snapback rally. And you're seeing it, fairly wickedly here right now. I know if you're looking at the chart, the prices right now, don't look at these 470s going by. These are FINRA late trades hitting. The stock is trading 436, down 64 points right now. So that's where it's actively trading. You can't sell it at 470. I know people are saying, oh, it's trading 470 right now. It's not. Those are late reports coming to the FINRA tape. So right now it's offered at 436.90. But I mean, the rotation here, just absolutely incredible. Peloton, the same story.
Yeah.
PTON down 16 points. It's the bubble has burst on these stocks now.
See,
Officially
I want to hit
burst.
the bid on that. I talked about getting out of that last week, and Lisa said buy more, and I'm like, I'm definitely not buying more. See, I would have no problem just hitting the bid on that and just forgetting about it. Say, hey, it was a good trade, it was a good investment. 110's a big area here, down $16, but boy, that got down to 105. I mean, there's going to be bounces. I mean, I mean, it's the question. Will this stick?
That's the question.
Yep.
If you think like next week we get a headline and all of a sudden in the next phase trials the Pfizer drugs fail, the trade will completely reverse itself. I mean, you are totally dependent on headlines here on all these trades. But one thing this does is this, the people who have been hiding in all these stocks, and I'm hiding in the video gamers I've been talking about. I'm sure they're down. I haven't even looked at them. I'm sure they're getting beats. Yeah, Activision's down $3. My Take Two, it's down 9. EA, which has just been the dog of dogs, only down 2 because it's already been murdered. But I mean, you look here, and this is just a complete reversal, of where people were hiding. So people were hiding in all these stocks, and they're getting punished for it this morning. The people who have been hiding these stay-at-home stocks with these ridiculous valuations. I mean, what was the market cap of Zoom? It was eventually, we've been talking, it's going to have its Fastly event, and it's going to be on the vaccine headline. You just don't know when that's going to be, but that's the event that's going to take it down. So Zoom's market cap, the video conferencing, which, obviously Microsoft has Teams. It's not going to be the only place. Cisco has, their WebEx. There's lots of, competition here coming for them. But the market cap got up to, so closed the market cap at $142 billion. $142 billion. This is stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. But it's a story. The story was hot, so it didn't matter. All of a sudden, the story might matter here. So is Zoom a buy today at 436? Not if we go full reopening. It'd be a lot lower. So, but if we get that headline next week from Pfizer, all of a sudden it's not working, then Zoom bounces back. I mean, it's dependent on those headlines. But if you're buying Zoom in your long-term portfolio and saying, well, I know it's going to be higher 10 years from now, I think you're wrong. I don't think it makes any sense at all. I think you're in 1999 pricing on a stock like Zoom. I think there's a lot safer places that will have growth for your money. Zoom has been exponential growth because it's been the direct beneficiary of stay at home. Today, the stay at home trade came off, so that's why it gets hit the most. So understanding the rotation is everything.
Do we want to go to some of these other reopening trade stocks?
Yeah, let's talk good stocks. There's lots of
there's
lots of like
good
stories here today. The airlines, cruise lines. Holy mackerel, the cruise lines. You want to talk? Everybody's going cruising this morning, Joel. The market's cruising. Norwegian up 25%. Carnival Cruise Lines up 31% right now. Is this an overshoot? Absolutely, in my opinion, it's an overshoot. But you know what? This crowded trades, people don't want to own these stocks. This is where Carnival Cruise Lines is trading where it was back in March. We talked about this last week. It's, these stocks were waiting for something like this to happen, like a big vaccine headline, and they just got it. So it's a party. You've been hiding these stocks. It's a party today. Is it time to ring the register? If I get 33% on a vaccine headline that you don't even know 100% that's going to get all the way through, I'd ring the register. That's me, though. But I always sell early. So,
you know what's interesting, too, is American Airlines here. Remember that moment in June? We'll have to go back on the dailies here a little bit. I think it hit 22.5 or something like that. It had that crazy, I think it was June 8th. And I can't remember what the news was. What was it that day? It was like a huge, was it some vaccine news or, God, man, I can't remember what it is. But everything topped out that day and then ended up coming in. Here, similar circumstance, great news. It touched over $15, but nowhere near that $22 level. Just try and find some dailies that coincide. Like if you're looking at this American Airlines here, you did touch over $15, right? There's your high. August, looks like August 10th. You had a high in that area. So if you're in any of these stocks at these levels and you're looking for a resistance off the pre-market charts, go try and find something with the dailies. I mean, just for reference. I mean, at this point, you're probably not going to get out at the top square. Peeling out of stuff is probably the best way to do it if you have it going your way. But American Airlines, I saw Delta at 35, right? No, that hit 38. Holy mackerel! Maybe Raz isn't dead on those calls yet. That got to 38. UAL, how's that doing? That hit 4. I mean, you'd see some sellers coming at these levels a little bit here. S&P is still up 150 now. What other ones do you want to look at?
Well, Disney, for instance, this is one, obviously it's been benefiting from Disney Plus. I mean, I guess it wins no matter what.
Wow.
Because people are pricing it like, oh, Disney Plus. And now they're like, oh, the perks. It's up 9%. I mean, it's a huge move for Disney.
How long is it going to take? Did Pfizer come out and how long is it going to take for all this,
He said the most significant medical advancement in the last 100 years. So
that's all you need to
the
hear.
Tires. Tires are pumped, Joel.
Oh,
the CEO
man.
is talking up the stock. It's up 15%. Pfizer is up 15%. I don't even know if they can make money on this. They make some if they get it through.
So, Joel, to answer your question, there's going to be more data and coming, and the FDA's emergency use authorization could happen all right, by the third week in November, they say, but I don't think that is likely.
It was a pretty big trial too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We still have to, after we get this thing approved, we still have to get produce and distribute it, and then convince everyone to take it. Those are all separate questions, obviously. But they said in the release they expect to supply up to 50 million vaccine doses this year and manufacture 1.3 billion doses next year. So they're going to submit this for full peer review. That hasn't happened yet. So I expect in the coming weeks we'll definitely learn more about this.
And I believe it's a two-step process. I believe it's a two-shot process too. So that is something that will take a little bit longer. I was discussing that with Lisa this morning. So it's going to take some time. But you know what? The market doesn't wait. Can we go limit up here, maybe, Dennis? 5%? Is that would that be the limit up today?
Is it on SPY? Or not on SPY, not on SPY. Is it on
No.
the S&P futures?
Yeah.
Yeah. So SPY keeps trading. We don't have the limit up on SPY, so we'll continue to run. So like I said, I don't even look at the futures after 4 o'clock. The only time I need to look at the futures is before 4 a.m. because SPY isn't open. Once SPY is open, it's a tighter market, and you can get in and out of it it's fairly liquid, and it'll keep trading. So, I mean, we knew this back in March when the markets were really crazy. When we go limit down, we still had SPY going if we were after 4 a.m.
That was interesting. Yeah, we'll see if we get to that point. There was also some fireworks on a Friday evening, Dennis, that you got to participate in.
Well, I mean, we had the Biogen news too, and here it is. You think the story of the day is going to be Biogen, and this is a sad story for me. I have Biogen in my long-term portfolio, and what I tweeted out Friday night was obviously, and Friday we knew before Friday night. We knew it Friday morning, but stock was halted. Easy come, easy go. We got the 100-point rally because we're like, they might get this drug approved, and it looks like at least the panel, what do they call it, the
advisory committee.
Advisory committee is advising not to approve this drug. Now the FDA can do whatever they want. They don't have to listen to it. So we're going to find out. They said probably in March whether it gets approved or not. But I mean, the advisory committee is like 0-4-8 or 8 against or something. I mean, it was not good news. So now it's given back that entire gain and is down even further than it was trading at 236. I'm long Biogen. I've been long Biogen for about 15 years. I'm not getting rid of my Biogen.
They still have a shot at it? Is it I mean, they're not. I mean, like
they still have a shot at it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't be selling it down 92 points here today. I mean, I think that if the drug doesn't get approved, I think most of it's priced in now. So if I didn't know Biogen, I'd probably be a buyer on the pullback, to be honest. I already own it. So.
Were you tempted when it had that move even on Thursday?
To sell it? Yeah, I said it. I said I want to sell it, but I didn't want to pay the tax for one thing. And the other thing is, wow, if it gets approved, I've said it before, if the drug actually gets approved, it's a $500 stock. I don't think it's going to get approved. So I think it's probably where it belongs because I don't think it's going to get approved. And obviously after that advisory committee panel, it doesn't sound like it's getting approved, but I think it happened. I mean, they want, and everybody wants an Alzheimer's drug. We've never had one, at least not one, that's really, so.
Maybe Pfizer could come up with one. But
the most medical so that's the question. If the Alzheimer's drug would get approved, would that be the most, significant medical advancement in the last 100 years and trump the COVID drug? What a statement though.
Yeah. 216.12. I'm sure his compliance officer is not super happy about that.
Little bold statement, but
216.12. That was your March low in Biogen. A lot of lows at the 220 area, 221.53, 219.20, 219.51, 250. Oh, actually, it did get to 215.78 before it turned around. So if you're looking at it on the cheap, those are not daily lows. Those are monthly lows in Biogen. But boy, I feel sorry for shareholders because, you had that move on Thursday, the optimism and man, oh man.
Yeah, you should feel sorry for me. I'm one of those shareholders.
No, because you don't want to pay the taxes. Well, do you want to pay the taxes now?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I would have been able to pay my taxes probably.
Exactly.
And rebuy the stock.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, it's funny you talked about what we thought the story of the day would be. So you come in this morning and you mentioned you're on the wrong side of the trade when the Pfizer headline broke. So the Qs were up 3% this morning. The story of the day until 6:45 was the market ripping on Biden victory. So that overnight rally, did that give you like a little bit of a head start?
Yeah, for sure.
It almost gave you some room, some buffer room, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So
and like I said, on the initial headline, and if you go and you can go to the millisecond chart, they bought the Qs too. Those algos are just dumb, man. They saw, and I don't know who's got a program to buy Qs. Somebody's got an algo to program to buy everything, right? So they see, and so they're probably still making money because they're probably buying all the other stocks too. But the algo is just programmed to buy everything on the positive vaccine news. But then it's like the rotation starts happening. That's where the algos, that's where a human being all of a sudden, is way more advantaged than an algorithm because it's not ready. At least, the algorithms I see out there aren't ready for it. So don't kid yourself. People say, oh, you can't day trade unless you're using algorithms. I've told this story before. I did a lot of algorithmic trading from 2000 to 2008. I don't do much algorithmic trading anymore because my whole thing is I navigate in between the dumb algos now. Because there's so many dumb ones. There's so many people who are writing algorithms that don't know what the hell they're doing. They're using automation and they're not good traders to begin with. You know, you've got mathematicians coming in that don't know anything about the markets. Oh yeah, we can automate that. And they automate it and they think, oh, it's cool, but they don't understand relationships. They don't understand any of this. And they put, algorithms to work that, aren't programmed correctly. Whatever algorithm's buying the cues on this headline is really stupid. So it would give you a gift. I mean, even on my initial Microsoft sale, I think I was picked off on it. So like somebody's lifting me. So where, and where did I sell the Microsoft?
I thought you said 229.
Oh, I gotta go look. I know it's handleitis here, Joel. We're moving handles like candy.
Hey, I just did the math. I just did the math here. So limit up on the S&Ps would be 37.70.
Oh, Triple D. This is what I want to ask you.
227 and 79. So 220.
You know what? This. How was I know you had you traded that APVO, but between 4:15 and 5. Between 4:30 and 5, the SPOOs made a nice move because we were actually, Well, no, I'm talking on Friday. I'm talking on Friday.
I can't even remember Friday. There's so much that stuff's happened. I can't even remember Friday night. I don't remember. I traded the whole thing and I don't even remember what happened.
Well,
I'm assuming we were down actually because, were we up or down?
Well, we
were up, but there was a lot of there was a lot of tech stocks that were trading down.
The actual close, the 4:15 close was marked at 3,500.75, right? But the last after hours print was like 34.11. And I'm like, So, I mean, there was even some strong buying in that period. And then, we had the modestly higher open, took out last week's high. And that's when, the party got started. That's a long ways away. That's 35.24. And then, boom, we obliterated the all-time high. That was 35.76.75. So we are trading 75 handles above the former all-time high in the S&Ps. That is a unprecedented morning here. Let's hope the rally continues. I mean, that's like old resistance, new support. That means
incredible.
We got to follow 75 handles in order to get to the top. We even got to follow 125 handles to get to the top of yesterday's or Friday's range. But
Joel, 37.
We're talking about going limit up here.
Yeah, I'm saying 37.70 is your bogey.
Oh my God,
your limit up bogey. So
let's talk APVO a little bit too, Dennis.
Talk what?
That was kind of exciting. I don't usually get down and dirty in these stocks, but I bought some APVO Friday night. That was the excitement there. That stock had that.
What was the headline?
It was an SEC filing from that one major holder that bought like 50% of the company. So give us the headline, Spencer. You'll see it in the Benzinga Pro. You can read it.
Tang Capital, I guess, is the firm they bought. We'll call it just under 1.5 million shares.
Huge chunk of the company.
At an average price of $17.30.
The stock was already hot, and then that hit, and then obviously, it's a 54% stake. I think it equates to. So the stock just started ripping. I was like, okay, well, I'll pay up a bit for this. So I bought some early. Don't even talk about, but here's my problem. I tell you, I get in good and I don't get out good. So I think I bought the 24 handle. I'm not kidding. I bought like 24 handle. Like it was a little bit of time. And then it just started ripping. And like 5 minutes later, this thing's trading like $34. So I'm like, okay, well, this is getting overdone now, isn't it? It's up 50% on this move. So I sell it. 10 minutes later, it's like 70. I'm like, holy, I screwed that trade up. I'm like, I made 50% of my money in 5 minutes and it felt like a loser because that stock traded up. How high did it get?
It got over $80.
It got over $80. It closed at $24.96 and went over 80. I mean,
82,
people just get so excited and overshoot everything, but that just got absolutely stupid. I thought it was overdone at 33 or whatever when I sold it. I don't even remember, but I remember I made I guess I'm probably around 50% of my money in literally 5 minutes. All you had to do is I should have just went, ate supper, came back, and I would have just like, wow, I made like 200 or 300% of my money. So again, I'm in early. I'm FIFO problems there first, and first out.
Wow, and this one too it says a second patient showed complete remission in its study for a treatment for leukemia. Wow, the second patient. What if there would have been 3 patients? How high would it be? Or 4 patients? That's incredible. Boy, oh boy, things are moving.
I mean, it was that filing though from Tang Capital that bought.
Have you heard of Tang?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have. They're in there. They get down. I've heard of them. It's not like something like, oh, I know who they are. I know anything about them, but I've heard of them.
Joel, yes, we remember the juice.
Spencer knows me too well. Dennis, you remember Tang?
Oh, he's talking the juice.
Yeah,
I remember the Tang. I drank Tang all the time. The orange stuff.
Yeah,
it was good.
Hey, one thing we didn't even mention yet is, speaking of just trash and ripping, I mean, we didn't even mention the movie theaters here, but AMC is up 78%, Cinemark's up 40%. I mean,
I know. I was thinking, I was going after the crap. I should have thought AMC. I guess.
I know.
Where was AMC at like 650? Joel, bring up AMC at 650.
It was under $3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the crappiest of the. I thought I went pretty crappy when I bought Six Flags, but I guess.
Could you have got any crappier? Like what?
AMC would have been the crappiest of the crappy.
Crappier of the crap. What about Ford?
No, Ford didn't go much. Ford's not, because Ford's been going okay. Ford's not a pure reopening play. I mean, it helps for sure, but it's not like these stocks were going bankrupt before. AMC's talking about bankruptcy. All of a sudden, we have hope. There's hope.
Hey,
that's why we tell you, we talk about it on the show, shorting stocks at $2.50 is just never a good idea. Banking on it going to zero. Go ahead, Spencer. What did you say? New highs here in the S&P. Spencer had to mention the limit up here, so here we go.
Here we go. Let's go to limit up.
Have we gone to the other side of the market here? Have we even talked about Zoom? I don't even remember if we have.
Just briefly, but let's talk about it again.
Zoom and Peloton and
the story is rotation.
Netflix, Roku, all of them.
Yeah, the story is rotation station here, and Netflix is down $28.
Shopify's down 100. What is that?
It's only down 50 now.
Hey, Dennis is making you a little nervous about your Amazon?
No, because it's Amazon. I mean, it's down 74 points. So obviously everybody's, maybe not ordering as much online if they're going to all of a sudden. I honestly, I think it's a buying opportunity in some of these stocks. Like Amazon, you get that down to 3,100. I've said that last time when Amazon got under 3,000. I said it was a buying opportunity, but I'm already long. So I said I feel like adding to it. It's already one of the biggest positions in my long-term portfolio, and I feel like adding to it. So I just think Amazon wins no matter what in the long run. I mean, is FedEx and UPS trading down? Oh yeah, FedEx down $7. I own FedEx, UPS. I mean, these stocks, it's not going away. Online buying isn't going away. So yeah, have your list. Have your list of stocks. And am I going in the Zoom? No, because the valuation doesn't make any sense. But FedEx isn't trade like. And I own FedEx. It's had such a ridiculous move, though. It could get them down to like 230 and still be in an uptrend. So it's hard to, just justify coming into that. But if you got a list of stocks that you want to own and you want to own some tech stocks, you're getting a chance here today. Amazon, I think, is a buy.
We got, I don't know if he's on the line yet, but we got Fari coming in, and I've been doing some texting and some phone calling with Fari over the last week and a half, getting some political and market consulting, and he's fired up, folks. This might be the most fired up Fari's ever been, and he's making some good calls about it, and he's going to tell us about it. It's going to be a big smile on his face. Is he there? Is he putting his camera on?
Yeah, he's here. Fari Hamzei from Hamzei Analytics. Fari, good morning.
How are you? Joel, I even put my best cologne on.
Okay. He smells awesome, man. When does Zoom come out with that feature that we can smell the other person? That's a good feature. That'd be worth $100 billion.
There you go. What's going on, guys? What are we talking about today? Is it the Biden rally or is it the vaccine rally?
Biden rally is old news, Fari. That's old neuse.
Excuse me. Well, I've been here for a while, but obviously it started with Trump sell-off, then Biden rally, now it's vaccine. The bottom line is we didn't do much in it. To be fair and honest to everybody, the records are at Time of Digest. We didn't do much on the drop on for the the sell-off. The close not wires was very hard the week before last on Trump, and but we were long on time digest, but we took no trades on the long side with our option people because we felt it was just we were going to get hammered. It was a guillotine coming down. But once that subsided, and there were two bullish divergences, I think Wednesday and then Friday, the week before last, we said we got to get long, and we got 3,000 points plus in 4 trading days. We said that's enough. Let's see what happens on Friday, because by then more states were reporting and it could drop off. And the bottom line is then we only dropped off only 1 point at the end of the day. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, we're with you.
And the S&P was -1. So I went back in and I said, you know what? This is not as bad as we thought. Let's get watchful. Be watchful Sunday night. We're up about 15 handles, and I said we're gonna get long on S&Ps. I had no idea we're gonna be 140 handles. So it's been absolutely incredible. I've been in touch, of course, early this morning with my biotech guys, same guys who put me into a short position in February, saying, yeah, this could be real. And here we are. On my overnight chart here, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but we can share.
Yeah, let's share the charts.
Okay, I'll share it. Where's my overnight? Hold on.
Fari, what do you do? What do you do for targets?
We're gonna do what? For
Targets, yeah.
I use Sigma channels. Sigma channels are standard deviations, and you just have to play with the time frame. If you're not sure about daily, go to weekly. They don't lie, because this is vibrations that you're gonna see between prices as they move up and down. As all participants come in, reach in their pocket, make a vote, right? Price and volume. You add those up. For example, let me. Can I share one screen quickly?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Here's this morning's. Okay, should be seeing this here right now.
Okay, tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, this is just the EZ and NQ on the 5 minutes. So let's go to 30 minutes. We're professional look at things. You can see the vibrations. You see that? And so you have a center line, 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, up to 4. Because if it gets excessive, especially to the downside, you could, the keyword is could see -4s. So these are negative, these are positive. Center line is 0.6. It's basically expanded Bollinger Bands. You can set up on your own machine, no biggie. Okay. Now, if you want to go even further out, I'll go to time frame and say, give me daily. Now you can see what's going on. You can really see what's going on, and you can see this down here. That was a buy signal right there. We could not go to 3 sigma. We don't look at price. We look at the sigma level of the price. Okay, your price will pay you. Your indicators will be on the right track.
So is that saying to sell right now? Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, that.
It's getting close. It's being overbought. It's overbought.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was it was starting to get overbought last week. Like, how do you know when it's really like, okay, it's time? Like, this is really overbought. Now it's just getting crazy town.
Okay. Well, oversold are easy. Because greed. I'm saying free. The fear. You're dropping so fast. Everyone's throwing baby with bathwater out of the window. So bottoms are easy. The tops are different. Tops could be formative. Could we go for days or weeks? So you could have false positives there. You have to be careful on overbought. It's difficult. Right now, temporarily it is, but you need confirmation. We gotta come back. Excuse me, guys. We gotta come back in a couple of days and see does it still hold or not. Let me kill this baby. It's a function of, again, getting confirmation that the signal you had was good. For example, in February, we had no problem. In February, we did not have that problem in February. Why? This on the sell side. It was really it was already overbought for weeks, and all of a sudden, boom, it rotates. Once it does that, you go with it. And then you pray to help. You pray as help because, hey, are you going to be right or not? Listen. There was 3 days in February that I thought I'd blown the family fortune. I really felt that because I sold some more assets, went short. I had some info. There's no question about it. Some info from Goldman Sachs, some info from CDC, the contact they had. I put 2 and 2 together. I said we got to go down, and I didn't know it was going to be that bad and that fast. Not 38% in 5 weeks. You can hear to my webinars. You could see during that time how nervous I was. I didn't know where the bottom was because remember, you may be sure that you want the market to go down, but you're damaging the economy. You're damaging the market. We may not come back. When is enough is enough? How many bullets do you need?
So far. Wait, so how are you approaching today then?
Oh, well, I won't use these. I use OTF, but I can't. That's using NDA. I can't explain those charts, show you those charts. But we use what we call the footprint. OTF is a footprint of what's happening. So let's say give you a 5-minute slice here. Hold on, 5 minutes. Hold on, no, hold on. 5. Okay. Why is not giving me that? Hold on, 1 second. Let's go 5 minutes this way. Okay, here's a 5 minute. Okay, so OTF is a shorter term, but it's looking for block trades of people trading NQ and ES. We also look at what Apple is doing, FANG, the FANG stuff. On S&P, I think today I'm going to probably just get some qualitative comments from my biotech guys. I have 3 serious biotech fund managers. They use our software. I get feedback from them. They work with doctors and PhDs and MDs, so they're pretty data-driven type of people. So we'll get some call. That earlier call was this could be pretty good. Now let me explain what happened here. This is what we're up so high. We're up 100. Look at, oh my God, 35.16.
Yeah. So yeah, just to recap, Fari here, we are limit up in the Russell futures. We're at this rate, we're going to be limit up in the Dow futures by the open. We're up 6.3% there. We're up 4.75% on the S&Ps.
Right.
NASDAQ obviously struggling hard this morning, but it's one of those mornings.
Yes, absolutely. And what you got to do, hold on, there's an issue here.
All right, what about oil? What about oil?
Oil, okay, hold on. Let me go to 24 there.
Oh, gold down.
I never even thought
Gold
about
should be
oil
down.
this morning.
Gold
There's
should be
another
down.
where you should have been piling in on at 6.
Wow, gold down $74 here.
That's nothing.
Coming
Wait.
down to the
Wait, just wait another month or so. I've told my guys last week, you have a lot of guys in gold. I mean, when I mean going to gold, they're buried it. Yeah, they have like 5 acres of land, 10 acres of land, big estates. They've buried billions and billions. No, they can't even sometimes find it themselves. Okay, that's the funny part. But I told them, hey man, unload that stuff. Okay, you're gonna be sitting on this too long. They think it's gonna go higher. But here's my question: it's the greatest fool theory. Who is gonna be there to buy it from you? What price is good? Remember, you gotta have somebody to take it from you, just in real estate. So I think you're gonna see calmness coming back to the market. Craziness is gone. We'll have another couple of more moves on the Trump side, but look at the filings; they're hollow, no proof. Remember, short margin between the two sides, and big evidence. There's none. You're just saying there is one. There's not proof. You got to show it. So that's going to go away. Communists are going to come back. Biden is going to do his cabinets, and I think by then the GOP elders will be freed up from all the Trump stuff, and they got to go there, build the country. They're responsible to the country. Remember, they have elections 2 years themselves, 1/3 of them. So the system will cleanse itself. You got to have trust the system. This is one of the greatest experiments ever made. That's why I came here. I read the Constitution before I came here. This is it, and we're going to fix it. Be positive, watch your price and volume, and kick ass. Now, we're going to go, I'm just looking at the NQ chart right now, the OTF that I cannot show you. I'm looking at how it vibrates right now, very slowly, between fear and greed, because that needs the NDN. We use it for members only. But this morning, I'll tell you what some of the timing was. This morning, around 1 a.m. made the high. Turned around, okay? The big push came around 6:50 this morning, right before the news, and then I don't know exactly the news. No, that's about
6:45 was the news, so right after the news.
What was the news? What time was the news came in?
6:45, right on.
6:53. There was a double top test and really pushed it. Some big volume blocks came in, and the low was put in around 7:30, 7:40, and now we're hitting another mid-level resistance. That means watch out. The specific level I'm talking about is 12,300. 12,300, watch that level. That's showing the Kono probability of resistance. All this system works on is Kono probability. It won't know for sure. Nobody knows for sure. You cannot predict future order flow. But from existing order flow and the patterns in the past, use the AI package, it does a corner probabilities on both sides, up and down.
All right. A lot to digest there, Fari. I agree with you. We'll let the system work itself out. Fari Hamzei is the founder of Hamzei Analytics. Fari, thanks so much for the time, for the charts, as always, and stay safe out there.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Fari.
We'll see you guys soon. All the best.
All right. Here we go. We got up to 36.68. That's fun.
Joel, do you want to guess what was the high this morning in the Dow Jones futures? You want to guess?
30,000
on the nose.
That was right.
On the nose, 30,000. That was it. So far,
I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's not a lot of playbooks for, you know, we've had a ridiculous, Biden rally already. And now you get just, boom. I mean, I got to think if you're trading, you got to ring the register here. Don't you think, Joel? Like, I mean, this is a big windfall here. I expected the market to be up today because of Biden. I figured it would get announced official over the weekend. So I came in biased long, and albeit it was a lot of tech stocks, which I had to reverse very quickly, like I talked about earlier. But now you look at it and you think, okay, now what?
If you got your target, I mean, how could you not take your target? And if not, like, let's say you had a target at 40.50 in Pfizer and it's trading at 42, then maybe throw a stop in at 40.50 because you're going to get your target anyways. And if it keeps on going, I mean, this is an unprecedented move up 5. It's up 560 right now. 18 million shares have traded. So it will chew through everything in the book, but just the way Pfizer traded, past history on this, let's just go. This is just how many standard deviations move. I mean, it right here. What did we get to? We just got over 42, 42.51. I mean, do you honestly think this thing can open over 42, Dennis?
It can do whatever it wants to do. There's
I
so
would
much
use right now.
Here, Joel. This is trade 18 million shares already. It's going to open wherever it wants when it's got that kind of pre-market volume.
Okay.
So you're not going to book pressure. We often talk about, is there a big seller 40, 39, 41? Probably, but there's so much volume here already. It's going to trade over 30 million by the time we open, maybe 40 million, because the volume picks up as you get closer to the open.
44. If you don't think 42.51 is good enough for you today, 44. Let's go with 44.44.
I think you ring the register.
Yeah, back in June of 2019, you hit 44.29. In July of 2019, you hit 44.56. So if another two, I don't see it there today. I don't see it getting there today. I'm not shorting it ahead of it. I think it's got to be some people. I mean, some long-term. The stock just doesn't move. When's the last time it moved $6?
But they just made that according to the CEO, the top medical advancement in the last 100 years, according to the CEO. Joel, this is crazy town for everything. I mean, Boeing is trading up 25 points right now. It's just been a stock that has been in the gutter, been a dog forever. We've been talking about, the lack of participation of the reopening stocks. Well, all of a sudden they're participating, but you're going to squeeze a few people. Now you've got people caught. I mean, is this rally sustainable is the question.
Yeah. So here's the question. So buy the dip and sell the rip has worked pretty much throughout this.
For the last few years, it's worked.
Right. Well, I'm talking about this year. This is unequivocally the best COVID drug news headline we've had.
Yes.
The entire time since the pandemic started, we have not had a headline that is this good. So I'm wondering if every other headline, if every other dip's been bought and rip's been sold,
is it different this time?
Is it different?
Is it just keep going? Are we up? The Dow's up. What are we up? 1,700 points right now. Are we up 3,000? Is it possible to be up 3,000 by the end of the day? It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, am I betting on that? I've never, like I said, I don't chase. So no, I'm not betting on it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to come in here and short right now and say, okay, yeah, this is just stupid, because it's not stupid. I mean, this is what we needed to get these stocks going. It's not dumb. I think it's justified that Boeing's up 25 points. I mean, it's been in the gutter. This is the only way that the airlines, some of them survive, is a vaccine. I mean, we've talked about this. If they can't get the vaccine, we can't get rid of COVID. So
And another
airlines are
thing
going to go out of
too.
business.
Another
So
thing too.
this
You
is
got
what they needed.
to keep in mind too. I mean, everything's not going to happen immediately. I mean, I'm not leaving right now to go to Walgreens to get the vaccine. I mean, these stocks are going to benefit. People are going to fly. People are going to go on cruises, but I mean, it's not going to happen tomorrow. So it's going to take some time, and there may be some bumps in the road. I think you absolutely, if you are hitting some targets here, look, like I said, Boeing here got up to 180. I mean, Boeing still has other problems. Boeing's a different company, right? They got up to 184.15 in August, and on August 15th, and you're near that area now. So look at that. I mean, it's not going to be immediate gratification on this. It's just
but here's for food for thought. If you're coming in here and just shorting all these stocks, and I'm not doing that either.
Correct.
I'm kind of just sitting on hands here now. The money was made at 645 if you rotated. And like I said, I don't know what I just made on my Six Flags. I've already booked it. I think I made like 18% in like 18 minutes, like 1% a minute, like craziness. Now you're coming in. It's hard to just say, this is a shorting opportunity, because what if, they really do get the vaccines?
I'm not saying
what if this really is, the top medical advancement in the last 100 years? I'm just trying to give scenario analysis. I want to bring this back to March, because when we thought COVID, we were getting past it through the lockdown measures, and the cases were going down, and we had, the flattening the curve rally. Boeing went, and it was way oversold at the time. So, but it went from $89 in about a week and a half to 186. So the stock doubled in that time period. I mean, you're looking at a stock that, yes, it's trading up, 14% here today. But if this is for real, the stock could go back to 250, 260. So it's not, these stocks hadn't participated, like they were in the gutter. So, and now all of a sudden there's life. So, like I said, if you're just a short-term trader, you ring the register. But if you were looking at this as like, this is going to be my long-term, like holding here, I mean, all of a sudden that trade that's just been dead money for you has a lot of life. So I think you might have to buy pullbacks in these things now, as opposed to just looking at, this rip this morning to ring the register on everything. And these reopening stocks, maybe you're buying the pullbacks. But again, a headline comes out from Pfizer tomorrow and the drug doesn't work. Well, these things are all going to tank. So it's very headline dependent.
You know what? One person gets sick from it or whatever.
Well, that's what happened to AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
The person died.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh boy, that would be. Oh man.
I mean, it's tough. It's a tough market to just come in when it's headline driven like this. And we've talked about, there's been headlines. We've been in a headline-driven market for a while. It's why the fade trades worked so well. Oh, we got positive vaccine news. Oh, no, it's no good. Oh, no, it's good. Oh, no, it's no good. I mean, this is a really good headline, but is there a bad one coming tomorrow? I don't know. Who knows? Nobody can predict the headlines.
No one. No, I mean, also there's always that. And I know you don't like to. You're all in or all out, but if you have, let's say I'm just going hypothetical, 1,000 Pfizer, right? Maybe you sell 500.
Maybe.
Or sell some calls against it, or something. I mean, the premium on these calls today are going to just be so wet. Oh, I mean, if you want some juice, I mean, there's going to be some juice out there. In if you want to sell calls, if that's your style, of course you're locking in profits, but you're limiting some upside. We have let's talk Mickey D's. Can we talk Mickey D's for a second? Let's pack drive-throughs.
Good call, Joel. I mean, it's up $10. The funny thing is, this would look awesome, but when you look at it relative to the market, it's just up what the S&P's up. So would it have been up $9 no matter what? Because of today on the reopening trade, it would have been up a lot without earnings. What's the earnings?
Yeah, well, before I give you the numbers, let me just quote from the release, because Joel has been talking about the drive-through and how crowded it is. They cited the strength in the third quarter. It was because of the 3 Ds, is what they said. Not the 5Ds from Dodgeball, the 3Ds from McDonald's: digital, delivery, and drive-through. That's what McDonald's said in their release. Those 3Ds are responsible. So it was triple D, you could say. It was a triple D quarter.
3Ds
for McDonald's. Their Q3 EPS $2.22 versus a $1.90 estimate. Sales of $5.42 versus $5.4 billion. So a beat on the earnings, beat on the sales. Thank you very much to the 3Ds.
Wow.
I mean, this is opening into the area of resistance. That's all I'll say. You just were recently, you made that all-time high at 231.91. I'm not sure where you closed on that day. And then you had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs in that area. So this one, I mean, it's definitely opening into, well, what did we get? We're at 229. I'd like to see, I mean, if after 15 minutes, if this is trading over 330, then I wouldn't want to be shorted, or 230. But if somehow it opens up, 229.85, runs to 231.10, and then comes back down through that open, then I'd look. But that's a really interesting.
It's already come off the highs, though, in the pre-market. We've already topped out multiple times at 231. So it's already showing the toppy formation at the old high. Yeah. So, it's just from the pre-market action. And this is, the advantage that we feel like we have on pre-market prep, because we're looking at the pre-market charts to give us an indication of where this thing might go in the regular session. I mean, you've got 2-3 tops already over 231. So that has already played out, and it's coming off those highs. And like I said already, Mickey D's, would it be up 4.5% even without their earnings? Or now only 3.6%. It's lagging the market by 1%. So here's a really good quarter. But, maybe a victim of reporting on the wrong day to a certain extent, because everything's ripping today. And they're not thinking about McDonald's right now. They're not looking at an awesome quarter. They're looking just at what can we buy that, was going out of business yesterday and isn't going out of business today because we're getting a possible vaccine.
And it's just like it's not a stay-at-home.
It's not exactly a reopening play either, though, for all those reasons you cite, the packed drive-throughs. I mean, McDonald's has somewhat benefited from COVID to a certain extent. I mean, yes, they've been closed, but there's a lot of people going through McDonald's drive-throughs that might not be doing that. They might be going and sitting down and having a meal, and they're like, well, I don't like going into restaurants here right now. I'm just going to go through a drive-through. Oh, McDonald's is always easy. So it's kind of in the middle. So I would not say it's a reopening play. You think of restaurants, you think of reopening, but because all those reasons you cited with the drive-throughs and the digital and the 3Ds that you just cited, Spencer, McDonald's is not really a reopening play.
Nothing else really matters here. Like, we had earnings from for Canopy Growth and Aurora today too. So pot is
hot again, Dennis. I want to talk about that.
But that's my point, though, is like none of that matters now. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of all out the window. Like Canopy had good numbers and McDonald's had good numbers, but like those things all take a back seat to the Pfizer BioNTech headline. So
I mean, this ACB is all the Biden trade, and everybody who was buying pot, right. The day one after it looked like Biden was going to win and we had the little sell-off in pot, that was the buying opportunity, because holy mackerel, look at ACB from 4 to 13. Tilray. And like I said, I think all these stocks 2 years from now are still a lot lower. So I'm like, ring the register is what I would be doing in these.
Wow, Tilray.
But they're oversold. They were oversold for a long time. So now that they're obviously they're getting some life back. There's a little bit of story going because of the Biden trade. Tilray was whatever $300. It's 9. It goes from 7 to 9. Could it go to 15 or 20? Sure, it could. It could before it goes back to 1 or 2, which I think in the long run it does. But I mean, in the short run, this could all kinds of room here. I'm not short any pot stocks, but I don't want to buy them up 33% here today.
Great. So just to recap this, Joel. Joel can tell us where we are on the S&Ps. I just want to.
We hit 36.68.
Yep.
And we're back off at 54.25. So I mean, I'll still put emphasis on that pre-market high as a potential target. The reason you can't short there is because it could go up to limit and get locked limit, and then you have. But I mean, I gotta believe that at some point today, you're gonna see a 50 or 60 handle sell-off. I mean, that's just what the market does. It goes up, it goes down. So for it to be up 150, I don't think it's that. I mean, have you ever seen it up 150 even during the rally on the way back?
We had a few, but they were down 150 the day before.
Yeah.
So we know what the volatility that was there. Yep. I mean, Coke's up $3 right now.
Jesus Christ. Are people going to be drinking that much Coke? Because
I
of
guess
the,
you think the reopening, the restaurant play of it, right?
the restaurants. Yeah. Oh, Dennis,
So
did
you
you,
got more Coke going to go out if the restaurants start reopening. So that's what they're doing. They're
did
saying
you grab
Coke's a
any
reopening play.
restaurants like the cheese
I
chunk
grabbed what I
factory?
could. I went Six Flags, like I said, Bank America. Obviously, yeah. Looking in hindsight, you should have that list there, and you buy all that. It was all the crap you could buy from 6:45 to 7 o'clock, and crap. What I mean is stocks that were in the gutter that were in trouble before the vaccine news came out at 6:45. I mean, those were the stocks. But you're looking through. What's up the most here today? The financials are just, we haven't even talked about them yet. The financials are just ripping. TLT is down $3.
Yep.
So obviously, this flight into the banks is significant here. I mean, Citigroup's up 10%. So Morgan Stanley's up. These are huge moves. I'm long Citigroup. I bought that one I bought Bank America, and I bought a couple banks there on the headline. I'm still long it, but I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy cow, man. It's up, like Citigroup is up 9.4% right now. I mean, these are enormous.
Oh, what about you know what we didn't check on? We didn't check on the.
Sorry, that was my
What's
fault.
that?
That was
Okay.
my fault.
Somebody's trying to
We
call
did
us.
check on the casinos.
They'll be up huge. They
Yep.
got to be up huge. So
Yep.
Wynn up
Yep.
18%, Las Vegas Sands up 17%, MGM Resorts up 15%, Penn Gaming, if you're going into the esports play, 11%. So again, direct beneficiary. DraftKings, sold my DraftKings very poorly, up 5% here this morning, which I would have thought DraftKings would be participating more, but maybe it's been such a gutter, or the gutter. I mean, again, you just classify your stock. Is it reopening or is it stay at home? If it's stay at home, it's getting hammered. If it's reopening,
Exactly.
it's rallying the hell out of it. If it's in the middle like McDonald's, it's like, don't know what it wants to do.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess we're going to wrap things up here at 9:02. Historic day in the markets. 36.68 at your pre-market high. You're only 7 points away from that. If you're shorting on the futures here, you got to be a little bit aware of, the limit up situations. And if you got some targets in there, some prices that you were looking for, and I also say, where you're at in your investment horizon. Like if you're, I don't know if we have many like 85-year-old people that listen to the show, but you've been investing for a long time and you took all that heat in March and you're seeing this kind of action, have different targets, different time horizons. Just be careful out there. I'm sure people are having a great day. The markets are, they're performing incredibly well here on this Monday. What else can we say?
That's all there is to say. So I just want to add that.
What do you do? Like, should we just talk the Zoom and the
Sure.
Pelotons? Because there's so many people have been hiding there.
Like
you're long Peloton. What are you doing?
I want out. I want it out on Friday. Nope.
But again, let's just say scenario analysis, and that's all you can do on these. Let's just say the scenario happens where, okay, the Pfizer got really excited, but now all of a sudden we've got an issue. Somebody got sick or something's not looking as good. The trade will completely reverse again. I mean, so you if you've been wanting to get in Zoom, and I'm not advocating to go long Zoom for all the reasons I originally cited, but I mean it's down $72 here right now. They're hammering it. The trade could come back on a headline. I think that still the stock. I think the bubble burst here today, and I think I would sell all rallies. But I mean, this trade, if this people here they're just saying, how can I go wrong buying Zoom down 71 points? I'll say you can go wrong because the valuation is still insane. But valuation doesn't matter. And we say, valuation doesn't matter until the story cools off or bursts. Is the story like, is it just cooled off here today for all the stay-at-home plays, or is the story, all of a sudden, ice cold and not coming back? I mean,
I think you got it. I mean, you got to have some overhead supply now.
What do you do if you bought Zoom at $100 and it was 500 on Friday? Now it's 427. Are you selling in the hole? Or are you waiting for it to get back to like 450?
You know what? I'll just tell one thing.
I don't know.
Similar analysis, and this was back when we were in the Bright office, and I had, a lot of money in a really conservative stock, and you could reinvest the dividends at like 5% below market value, and had probably a little bit too much of asset allocation to it, and this was during the Enron thing, and woke up one morning, went into and I was getting nervous about it. And news came out that they had some affiliation with Enron. and the stock had closed like 32 and it was opening at 28. And I talked to Lisa about it. I go, I don't want to have anything to do with this stock ever again. And she was like, she said, wait for the bounce on this one. She was like, buy and hold. And I said, absolutely not. This was just too big a news. Sold it on the open that day at like 28.50. And that stock ended up going to $2. So, I mean.
So you won that one versus.
I won that battle. I won that
battle
on that one. I'm not winning the Peloton battle, but.
But you sit here and you look at your Zooms and your Pelotons have gone to these ridiculous valuations because nobody's ever going to a gym again, and you think
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, like I think the gyms. I think people are eventually going. I think like I've been COVID scared, but I think 2 years from now, I think we're past COVID. That's my own personal thought. I think we're somewhat back to normal 2 years from now. I don't know if it's next year. Maybe it's going to come sooner, but 2 years from now, I think people are going back to the gym. Are they like, do they want, sit on their Peloton bike in their home, or do they want to get out there? Are people going to be like, just imagine, we've been cooped up, and here's a good food for thought too. We'll let you go on this. We've been cooped up. People want to get back out there. I mean, I think, it's going to be kind of like, coming out of, when we were coming back from like World War II and, you saw the big, or the World War I, and we saw the big boom after that. People are going to be excited. Like, I mean, we've been cooped up, not being allowed to go to restaurants and that. I mean, there's going to be a huge expansion into like, that's the first thing I was saying. I want to go, once it's safe, like it's really, really for sure safe. I want to go on like a 2-month vacation in the Caribbean. Like, and like enjoy life a bit because, this 2020, even though it's been great for trading, I got my kids sitting here doing virtual school. I mean, it sucks. I want to get out there. I want my kid to have experiences. I want to be out there. So I think once we do get past this, I mean, people are going to be going back to gyms and doing all that, like once you're past this. So stocks like they're stay-at-home stocks are still, in my opinion, just a temporary thing. I don't think people are going to be excited unless we think we're not getting past it. If you think we're not getting past COVID and, the vaccines are all going to fail, then, these stocks are going to continue to go higher. But I believe that we will get past COVID. And that's why I don't want to be a long-term investor in a Peloton or a Zoom. I want to be a long-term investor.
It's a turn. It's a turn.
And it was the turn today. That's the question. Was it today?
Yeah. And
maybe it was. Maybe this is the event. We'll look back. This was the day that we turned. It might be.
And it's also the timing of this too, because the cases have really been increasing in Michigan and around the country at pretty high rates. So, the timing of this too is incredible. But we'll keep an eye on Pfizer. I mean, that's your stock of the day here. That $42 area, Dennis. We won't make a lunch bet on this or anything, but I don't think it opens above 42. Just for some reason. I've been wrong before, but man, oh man, up 15%.
It's a ring the register type of move in Pfizer, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Am I selling out of my long-term holdings? I think I'm in from 13. Probably not. Should I, if I was in this thing overnight, and obviously.
If you're a shooter and you bought a bunch of the 40 calls that expire on Friday, just look at where those calls are trading. So let's say that call opens up at 350 today. You're selling the stock at 43.50 in essence. So just, if you have those kind of plays on and, think about it. I mean, could go to 43.50, could go 45 this week. But that's one thing when you're trading the options. If you have any of the shorter term options, you just got to look at like, wow, I'm selling my 40 call at 4.5. So by the end of the week, that means it has to be a 44.5. And then there's going to be a point too with some of these stocks where maybe they don't go down, but they just grind, right? There's going to be an open, there's going to be some crazy action, but then the algos are going to find the size and they're going to get on both sides of the market and they're going to grind. So a lot of different trading scenarios here today.
For sure. It's
November
a tough day.
9th.
It's a tough day to make a call, and just say, okay, I'm going all in on Boeing because we're going back. I don't pay up $22 for it. It was up 25 a few minutes ago, but I'm got it on the radar now. It's like, okay, we may be closer to there's more light at the end of the tunnel than there was on Friday. Yep. So now if we get like a headline that brings us back in, it's like, oh, it doesn't look as much as light. That's when maybe a strike. So I think I put all these, reopening plays on the watch list now, and you get the pullback, which inevitably always seems to come. and then you strike. But if you're
Wild
chasing
day.
today, I mean,
If
are you
you
going to be
want
okay
chase,
in Boeing
chase.
5 years from now? Probably. I don't. It's hard though to say. Like if the vaccine didn't come soon enough, a lot of the airlines were going to be in trouble. So it's a good headline for a lot of stocks companies here today. So I'm happy for that.
All right. Show us the love. We appreciate all the likes and the super chats. I liked this show because you guys gave some clarity on what
I
has
liked
been
it.
a wild day.
268.
Like you said, Dennis, there is no textbook for the day. So we appreciate
Never.
all your insights. We appreciate all the participation. I'm sorry we didn't cover more questions in the chat, but today was just one of those days where there is no textbook for it. So we appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the super chats, and all of our chats on YouTube, on Benzinga.com, and on Benzinga Pro. You can catch a replay of this on our podcast. Please remember that all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. My phone is ringing. I'm going to go. We're going to go. We'll be back with you in the afternoon.